This Blondie recipe, I've shown it before, but it is one of my favorite recipes, so I don't mind showing it every holiday. But it's the one that's the weird butter. It's the 2/3 cup. So if you do it in stick form, it's kind of odd because 1/3 cup, which I showed you a minute ago, 1/3 cup is 5 tablespoons in 1/3. So I have figured out the easiest thing to do is, first of all, cut your 5 tablespoons out. Then once you cut that, kind of move it to the side a little bit. Then cut out just 1 tablespoon and then move everything else to the side. With that 1 tablespoon, you're going to divide it, or at least kind of mark it to where you know where thirds would be. And you can either cut 2 separate thirds or just cut 1/3 off and put it to the side. That way this first stick of butter will have 5 tablespoons and 2/3 of that other tablespoon. With the other stick of butter, what you're going to do is just cut off 5 tablespoons. So in total here, so now you kind of see I've got 2 separate sticks that are cut in 5 tablespoons and then 1/3 a tablespoon. So you want to make sure that it sits out and you can press your finger in it and it leaves an indentation. That's how you know your butter is soft. Or you can pop it in the microwave for just a few seconds and let it soften. Then you're going to add 2 cups of brown sugar. It doesn't matter if it's dark brown sugar or light brown sugar, either or is fine. Just depends on if you like a little bit more of a molasses-y, I guess that's a word. If you like a more molasses-y taste, more molasses taste. But it's 2 cups of brown sugar. Then it calls for 2 eggs. And I'm going to crack those eggs and put them in a little bowl separately. So with the butter softened, it should blend up pretty good, but you want to blend the brown sugar and the butter until it's just real crumbly, a real fine crumbly texture. And I'm going to kind of speed through here to the very end, and then you'll kind of see that crumbly texture that I'm talking about. But you want to make sure that you've really blended it up really well. Then you're going to add 1 egg at a time in, and just blend the first egg in really good before you put the second egg in, and then make sure it's blended really well. Okay, this recipe calls for about a teaspoon of vanilla. I just kind of put a capful in. My husband was sitting there watching me. He said, how much was that? So I like vanilla. So you could add 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla in and just mix that in real good. Now in a separate bowl and with a sifter, I'm going to put in 2 cups of flour. And there's the second cup in the sifter. Then we are going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You know me, I like using my pink Himalayan salt or the Redmond real salt, but you can use just table salt. You're going to sift all that in your bowl. Okay, this is where I differ from the original recipe. I like to add about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. That is that Ceylon cinnamon. The Ceylon cinnamon I get at my local health food store. It's actually better for us than the cinnamon you get, say, at Walmart or whatever. The Ceylon cinnamon still has all of the minerals and everything that your body needs. So, but the cinnamon also gives it just, I don't know, something, little extra hint of something. You want to take a fork or a wire whisk or something and mix the cinnamon and the leavening agents in with your flour really well before you pour your flour in your mixture. I just dump the whole thing in and then blend it with my mixer. You don't want to be, you want to mix it till it's just incorporated. Even if there's just a little bit of a flour that you see, it's okay, because you're going to mix it a little bit more with the spoon when you mix in your M&Ms and stuff. But you do not want to over mix. You can see there's still a little bit of flour left. And next we're going to add the chocolate chips. The recipe calls for 3/4 a cup, but I like to add 1 cup. And I wanted to add a cup of the red, white, and blue M&Ms, but I didn't have enough to be able to sprinkle over the top. So I put in 3/4 of a cup of the red, white, and blue mini M&Ms. You can also just use the regular size M&Ms. And it doesn't have to be red, white, and blue. It's just, you know, it's Memorial Day, so that's why I'm doing that. But I'm also adding in some red, white, and blue sprinkles. And you just want to gently mix all of the M&Ms, the chocolate, all that in. It's easier if you have a good wooden spoon like that, but anything will work. You want to spray down 11 by 9 inch cake pan with Pam or whatever. And then I'm just dumping in all this dough. I call it cookie dough, even though it's a Blondie. To me, it tastes and looks like a cookie. This stuff is quite sticky, and you see that I'm struggling a little bit here, but I'm going to show you a trick. Spread it out the best you can with the spoon. But then I just take my Pam, or if you had oil, but I take my Pam, spray it on my hands, and then you can see what I'm doing. I'm just patting it out, spreading it out, whatever you want to call it, with my hands. That's the easiest, best way that I have found to try to spread this cookie dough in your cake pan, because like I said, it is quite sticky. Now that I've got that nicely spread out and patted down, I'm going to take what was left of those M&Ms and I'm just going to lay those on the top. That way you can see a little bit of color whenever it comes out of the oven. If you don't overbake it, which I'm scared I might have just a touch. But anyway, so you spread your M&Ms over top. If you want to add more sprinkles, that's fine. Then I'm going to pop it in an oven that has been preheated to 350 degrees and bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. Now mine, I forgot to set my timer, so we were just kind of guessing at how long it had been in there. I think I may have slightly overbaked it just a touch, but I still think it's going to be okay. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. And also, if you like the video, it really does help me if you give me a like. And go ahead and hit that bell for notifications. That way when I do upload a video, you'll know. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.